How's it going, everybody? My name is The Starks, and welcome to a brand new PlayStation video.
And this is Joe from Seattle. Welcome to a brand new response video. I think you guys already know what this one's going to be about.
Today, I've got some interestingly heavy and upsetting news. Upsetting news to me, at least.
Heavy and upsetting news. Heavy and upsetting. Well, what could this heavy and upsetting news be for this PlayStation YouTuber? I'm just scratching my head. Whatever could it be? The way he's prefacing this, it sounds like it's going to be a really serious thing.
And that is Sony is seemingly Sony seemingly leaks Uncharted 4 to be a PC port.
Oh. That's it? Huh.
Now, I'm going to read off of this article from GamesRadar.com.
A fine, wonderful, amazing publication.
And it states that at long last, it seems an Uncharted 4 port is on the way. That's according to a presentation via PC Gamer Sony published for its Investor Relations Day today, in which one of the slides clearly lists Uncharted 4 as one of the company's planned PC releases.
And I really don't know why anyone is surprised by this. I always get confused when Sony announces more, or I guess in this case indirectly announces more PC ports. Like, did you think they were just going to stop? Like, they already ported a handful of their big exclusives. Did you really think that the other ones were safe at this point? It's just business, and they've already started the train. Why would they stop the train because you like Uncharted? What, Uncharted and Last of Us, those are the special ones? No, none of them are safe. And that's a good thing. It's always good for games to go to more platforms.
Sony has been open in the past about wanting to bring more of its IPs to PC.
Yeah, because if you have these games in your library, if you have these IPs in your library, why wouldn't you put them on PC? The PC is not a direct competitor to the PlayStation, so why wouldn't you bring them to PC? The PC is not a direct competitor to the PlayStation, and the PC has a much bigger user base than the PlayStation.
Supporting one of the PlayStation 4's most popular games from a first-party studio seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. It's a no-brainer. The only people upset about this are fanboys. Wait a minute.
According to a semi-recent leak, the next PlayStation exclusive in line for PC ports include God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Bloodborne, and the Uncharted collection, Nathan Drake collection.
And the only ones in there that I'm really interested in are Bloodborne and maybe God of War. Like, if God of War lets you change the field of view, maybe I'll play that one again. Because honestly, my biggest gripe with God of War 2018 was the field of view. Like, the field of view in that game made group fights fucking unbearable. But I mean, if the PC version you can change the field of view, bring it. I'll try it again. And then also Bloodborne is really good.
In case you're curious, none of the other Uncharted games have been confirmed for PC release, so it would seem Sony is paving the way for PC players to start the series with the most recent game, which, by the way, in my opinion, makes zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to bring Uncharted 4 before the other ones, but two things. I said this in a previous video. Number one, this graphic here, where it shows Days Gone and Uncharted 4, those are probably just the highest profile games of the next batch of PC ports. So it's very possible that the Nathan Drake collection comes along with Uncharted 4 or right after Uncharted 4. There's just not a whole lot to go off of with this graphic. We know Uncharted 4 is coming, but as for the others, we really just need more information. And number two, I forget what my other point was. It'll come back to me eventually. Keep going.
So the article goes on to say that though it's now 5 years old, Uncharted 4 still boasts some of the most impressive visuals out there, so the appeal to PC gamers with high-end graphics cards is obvious.
Yeah, it looks fine. It doesn't run very well, but it looks fine. I'm definitely intrigued to see this game running at max settings and, above 60 FPS.
And then they go on to talk about the review, which I'm not interested in reading.
Because who needs information?
So I just want to get into this. And just straight away, because this is crazy news, crazy to me at least, because
you're a fanboy.
This is Uncharted. This, is a really beloved series
for some reason
among the PlayStation community, and obviously it's a very successful series which has generated millions of money for PlayStation.
It's generated millions of money.
And obviously Naughty Dog being the developers of this IP.
And I really wish Naughty Dog would go back to making platformers. Like, they're third-person action games. I know there's a market for them. I know people really like them, but goddamn, I miss their platformers.
And I just want to get into why I think this is bad. I think that this recent onslaught of destruction that Sony has been perpetuating in their Californian headquarters.
Holy shit, I gotta hear that one again.
This recent onslaught of destruction that Sony has been perpetuating in their Californian headquarters.
You're talking about Sony as if they're the fucking Antichrist. The meltdown from the Sony faithful over all these PC ports has just been bizarre. You guys truly only care about games if they're exclusives. It's insane. How are you a gamer with this narrow of a mindset? You're saying Sony's bringing destruction, or whatever your stupid wording was, because they're putting their games on another platform? For more people to enjoy them? Is this really about the games, or is this about branding? If you love this game, why wouldn't you want it to go to other platforms? And if the game is no longer of interest to you because it's on another platform, that means the game isn't good. Or you're a fanboy. Make your choice.
And all these executives are really showcasing this display of greediness and money-hungry ideologies and methods.
So let's go over this. If you keep a game, if you hold a game hostage on one platform, the platform you make, if you have a great game that a lot of people want to play and you're forcing it onto only one platform that you also make money off of, that's not greedy. But putting that game on other platforms so more people can enjoy it and it can have a wider audience, that's greedy. That's the greedy choice in your head. Okay.
That they seem to have for this new business model, and I don't agree with it whatsoever.
And I'm sure you have some amazing, educated, and factually based reasons as to why.
And before I get a lot of hate comments and people responding with like, oh, you're a fanboy.
You are.
Cut the buzzword crap, because let's be real here. It's not a fanboy to disagree with what a company that I've been a consumer for the last for a long time now. It's not a fanboy of me to disagree with what they're doing.
You are shaming Sony for making their games more accessible to people. You are a fanboy.
To disagree with their business model and to disagree with them putting a game like Uncharted 4 for the PC market.
What valid reason is there to disagree with that, though? Like, truly, what valid reason other than fanboyism is there to disagree with this? The game is, 5 years old? It's not an active seller on the PS4 anymore. The PS4 has been superseded by the PS5. Truly, what is the reasoning for not wanting this game on other platforms?
And you can have a disagreement with me.
Oh, thank you for your permission, oh great one.
But don't call me insane, mental illness, and a fanboy for having this opinion.
Did you just lump fanboyism and mental illness into the same category? That's a Freudian slip if I've ever heard one.
I think it's an honest opinion, and that is I don't think that Sony's making the right call here. I think
because of all these reasons I've very properly explained.
I think it's very greedy of them, and I think it's obviously money-driven.
Greedy and money-driven are two different things. I don't understand how this one is greedy, but money-driven, obviously, they're a business. They have to make money. And I'm not even shaming them for that. If you're a business, yeah, you have to be money-driven. Otherwise, you're not going to be a very successful business.
And that's cool. Yeah, it's a corporation.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I just have an issue with it.
I get it. It's a company. They need to make money. I understand. Well, they don't need to. They've garnered billions of dollars since the inception of PlayStation back in the 90s, okay? Like they've
Did you just say they don't have to make money because they've already made money? Let's hear that again.
I get it. It's a company. They need to make money. I understand. Well, they don't need to. They've garnered billions of dollars since the inception of PlayStation back in the 90s, okay? Like they've
So because Sony has made money in the past, they don't need to make money now, and Uncharted 4 shouldn't go to PC. That's the argument you're making. Because they made money in the past, they don't need money now. I don't know if you're familiar with how business works or how the economy works, but companies and corporations, they don't keep all the money that they earn. All the revenue they generate, that doesn't just go into their pocket. That goes back into operation. And even the biggest companies, need to keep making money or else they will go under. The Walt Disney Company, one of the biggest corporations on earth, lost money in their recent financial reports. Disney is in the red, but Sony doesn't need to make money. All because Uncharted 4 is going to PC, and all this while saying you're not a fanboy. The complete lack of self-awareness is astonishing.
They have so much money,
And they're spending it. Because that's how this works.
and have made so much money, and for them to kind of take this approach, which I mean, obviously Xbox, a lot of the quote unquote exclusive Xbox games go on PC. I mean, it's owned by the same company, Microsoft, so that's understandable.
Did you just say the PC is owned by Microsoft?
But for Sony to take this very odd switch approach really shows them trying to compete with Xbox.
Yeah, God forbid PlayStation competes with Xbox. Can you imagine?
And maybe that's because it's a business model that works for Xbox. Will this work for Sony? Who knows? And
It's already working for Sony. They've already been doing this for a couple years, and it's already working.
ultimately, yeah, I am a fan. I am a consumer. Not a fanboy. I'm a consumer. I'm not a pony. I'm a consumer.
Oh, you're not a fanboy. Keep that in mind as we keep going. Just think of everything he said so far, and keep that in mind as he keeps going. He's not a fanboy. He insists. And if he says it, it has to be true. This is your content. This is your channel. Okay.
Of video games. I'm using my PC to record this video right now. It's a PC that I built. I play PC games.
Look, I own a PC. I am not fanboy.
I have my first console was an Xbox.
I own PlayStation consoles. I own Xbox consoles. I own Nintendo consoles. And I'm a PC person. You owning a thing that you don't use doesn't mean you're not a fanboy of something you're using now.
Okay, I bought an Xbox the Xbox One back in 2019. Played it for a few months and never touched it again because it's an awful system.
Wait, the Xbox One was your first console? I need to hear that again.
My first console was an Xbox. Okay, I bought an Xbox the Xbox One back in 2019. Played it for a few months and never touched it again because it's an awful system.
Buddy, I really hope you slipped up your wording there and the Xbox One wasn't actually your first console. But if it was, and that was actually your introduction to gaming, it would kind of explain a lot.
But I'm a fan of video games, period. Like I'm not a Sony pony. I haven't been on my PlayStation 4 in over a week.
Then how'd you get this gameplay?
So I find it interesting that once you have like a deferring opinion from this like mass majority, you're titled a pony and a fanboy, a Sony pony. You have a mental illness for having an opinion against what this big I don't think it's multi-billion, but multi-million for sure dollar company like Sony is taking this very like this money-hungry approach in essentially putting a lot of their marketed exclusive games on PlayStation 4 and 5 onto, and I just mean PlayStation 5 by you're able to play Uncharted 4.
Okay, I'm just stopping it right there. I was waiting for him to like stop his sentence, but this dude rambles and rambles and rambles, and there's no good stopping points. I'm just stopping there, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna touch on this all as much as we can. First of all, again, with the weird lumping of fanboy and mental illness into the same category, you got something you want to talk about? And second of all, you're saying that people call you a fanboy and all this because you have a differing opinion. No, that's not why you're a fanboy. You're not a fanboy because you have a different opinion than the majority. You're a fanboy because you advocate for anti-consumer practices. You advocate for games not going to other platforms. You advocate for people being forced onto a certain set of hardware they may not want, all because they want to play one or two games. And you are a fanboy because you are absolutely incapable or unwilling to hear anyone's side but your own. We're almost 6 minutes into your video, and you're yet to make a single point as to why Uncharted 4 shouldn't go to PC. Not a single actual point other than you don't want it to. Yes, you're a fanboy. You can call it what you want, but I'm going to call it what it is.
You're able to play Uncharted 4 PlayStation 5 because of their backwards compatibility. That's what I mean before anybody misinterprets what I say.
So it's not even an exclusive. Like, really?
But that's essentially what I mean, and it's not wrong to have this opinion. You can disagree with me,
If your opinion is factually incorrect, yes, it is wrong to have that opinion.
but I think Sony is making the wrong call here. Ultimately,
For these reasons I've wonderfully explained.
yeah, I don't disagree with people being able to play video games. I don't disagree with more people being able to enjoy video games.
Weird, because that's literally what you're advocating for.
I know this one Twitter user, I forget his name. He's irrelevant to me.
You do not forget his name. Come on, man. This Twitter user who I'm about to quote, and he's irrelevant to me. I don't remember his name. Yes, you fucking do, bro. Come on, be honest. A tweet does not live rent-free in your head without you knowing where it came from.
But he said how, let us enjoy what we want to enjoy. I want to play God of War. I want to play Uncharted 4. I want to play all these different games on PC. Good for you, brother. And I disagree. I disagree with Sony taking that singular business approach by saying, hey,
Singular business approach?
you want to get more money? This is the way to do it.
Yes. I know it's just shocking to you that businesses do things that make them more money. But yeah, that's how this works.
Obviously, because it works. I mean, obviously, PC gamers have longed, ached and have been hungry for all these exclusive PlayStation games. And now they've given the opportunity to do so. Will this hurt their Sony's overall score in terms of money?
No, it's not going to hurt them in terms of money. Them putting their old games on PC, and really just them putting their games on more platforms in general, it's literally free money. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool.
In terms of hardware, absolutely, it definitely could.
Oh, good.
I know. There's this concept, this interesting ideology where more PC gamers get these games, the more interested they're going to be to buy this PlayStation hardware.
No, that's not. No. I mean, it's like, yeah, some people think that, but it's wrong. The main thing that Sony is shooting for here is not to kind of coax PC players to buy a PS5. Like, yeah, sure, some of them will do that, but that's not the main point. That's not the main goal of this. The main goal of this is to get an audience that wasn't part of the initial player pool into the player pool on their platform to play the games. I said it earlier in this video, but the PC and the consoles, they're not in direct competition with each other. They're both gaming platforms, yes, but they're not in direct competition with each other. People who play on Xbox can be swayed to PS4, or people who play on PS4 can be swayed to Xbox. Consoles can be swayed to consoles, but generally speaking, if you're a mainly PC player, if you are a PC player, just generally speaking, they're not super interested in the console sphere because our sphere is just so different. And this is another thing I said in my last response video. The people who didn't buy Uncharted 4 because they were on PC, they were not a lost sale for Sony. They were just not part of the player pool. But now that Sony is expanding the player pool, they can gain sales on this. Does that make sense? Probably not. My point is the PC community was not a lost sale on PlayStation exclusives because the PC sphere is very different and pretty isolated from the console sphere. Yes, there's some rollover in features and games and communities and whatnot, especially now that crossplay is growing. But in terms of the market, the PC market versus the console market are pretty isolated from each other. So when I say that putting PlayStation games on PC is free money for Sony, I mean that in the most literal sense. They're not asking you to buy the game a second time like they are with the Last of Us Remastered and the Nathan Drake collection. They're not asking you to double dip. They're asking people to buy it for the first time. And that's potentially a much more profitable position to take.
Yeah, I'm sure there definitely will be, but will that be a business approach that that works for Sony down the line? Probably not.
And how is that? How would it not? How would it not? How would expanding your player pool not benefit you in the long run? Genuinely, this is what I mean, and this is why I'm adamant that yes, you are a fanboy. This is not an argument.
I honestly don't think so. Like, why would me, a PC gamer who's loved this PC market, I love all the games that I get, I'm now being sent all these exclusive, great PlayStation games. Why would I go out of my way to buy hardware for the PlayStation or for Sony? That, like,
you probably wouldn't, which is why Sony's putting their games on PC. Are you understanding yet? Again, the people who missed out on PS4 exclusives because they didn't have a PS4 are not a lost sale. They're a different market. And now Sony is expanding the market to include them.
That doesn't really make any sense. And
It doesn't make sense because you're not paying attention.
ultimately, Sony has to think of it that way. It's like, well, now no one's going to really be exposed to your hardware.
Just a little side note, just watching this gameplay, how the fuck is Nathan still alive after all this? This dude's getting dragged on the road. He's getting smashed through boxes. He's getting shot. How is this dude alive? Just the suspension of disbelief that's demanded of you for the Uncharted games is just insane.
No, this just gives people another narrative to devalue the PlayStation title, to say that it's not as good as they say. It's not as good as if it were running on a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. Like this is clearly a horrible. Like, I'm laughing, and I find this funny because I can't believe Sony is actually putting Uncharted 4 on a PC, or planning on. I mean, this is just a leak.
Remember, this is the guy who's adamant he's not a fanboy. He's laughing about it. He's getting upset about it. He's making no actual arguments against it, but he demands he is not a fanboy. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a fanboy if you own up to it. You know, but actually, I still kind of think there is something wrong with being a fanboy, because fanboys are the reason, you know, anti-consumer practices continue. These people that support these corporations no matter what they do, that is bad. But if you ask me, the only thing worse than a fanboy is a fanboy who just completely refuses to acknowledge it. If you could acknowledge it, we could move on. But you're not doing that. You don't think you're part of the problem, but you are. You're the kind of person to completely lap it up whenever Sony does something anti-consumer or Sony takes advantage of you. And you're the kind of person to vehemently oppose it when Sony does something pro-consumer like this.
Right, like this is not necessarily confirmed. I believe this was a patent. This was some form of presentation for the investor relations.
Yes, it was an investor card, which means, yeah, it's confirmed. Because they wouldn't say something to investors if they weren't going to do it. That's how you lose investors.
Which was today, obviously, May 26th. And good for Sony. Like, if they think that this is going to give them a lot more money and a lot more exposure, I mean, they're wrong.
Yeah, no, putting games on more platforms does not increase your exposure. Got it. For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's how this works. Never mind the fact that Halo has been almost completely revived thanks to the PC ports. Never mind that Days Gone is finding new life thanks to the PC. Never mind that Death Stranding found new life and longevity thanks to the PC. Like, are you really this obtuse?
But who knows? It might work in their favor, right? But I'm not mad. I'm not upset.
Are you sure?
I'm disappointed. Sure. I'm not a Sony pony.
Not a Sony pony.
Like I said, I haven't been on my PlayStation 4 in over a week.
That doesn't matter. Why does that matter?
I barely touch it. I'm a hardworking individual.
Yeah, so am I. What does that have to do with it?
Who spends a lot of his time, not always, but a lot of my time playing PC video games, right? Like exclusive PC video games.
Like.
Would I play those games on my PlayStation 4 console? Hell no, right? Because this is the PC experience. This game was made for PC. The games that I play were made for PC.
Look, I'm a PC gamer too. I'm almost exclusively a PC gamer, aside from, you know, when I want to lay in bed and play a Binding of Isaac or something. I'm 99.6% a PC player. But if a PC exclusive, like, I don't know, like Valorant or Tarkov or World of Warcraft, if one of those, if a PC exclusive was going to console, I would be like, nice. These games deserve to be played by whoever wants to play them. If the game is physically capable of running on the console and it's not a detriment to the experience, which, you know, going from PC to console, there's always going to be some kind of detriment, but you know what I mean. As long as the gameplay itself does not have to be changed in order to get this game on console, go for it. Why not? More people getting to play more good games is always a good thing.
It's different when they're cross-play and they are developed for multi-platforms. But Uncharted 4 wasn't developed for multi-platform. Sure.
It's weird that you bring that up because earlier in this video, you were happy about the fact that Uncharted 4 could be played on the PS5. It wasn't developed for the PS5, but you're glad you can play it there.
It can be played as a multi-platform, but it was marketed as an exclusive first-party PlayStation video game.
Yeah, it was marketed as a PlayStation exclusive because it was. And now it's not going to be marketed that way because it's not. Again, with you making no actual arguments against these things, you're just pointing things out that exist and being like, look, it's bad. That's not an argument.
And for Sony to take this 360 and spin that narrative and say, hey, well,
that's not what 360 means. You mean 180.
Screw that, what we said 5 years ago. Let's put this on PC for everybody to play.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Right, for all this entire PC market, because we want to generate more money than we already have, because why not, right?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Genuinely, why not? You keep saying, why not? You keep alluding to them that Sony's been like, let's make money because why not? But you haven't given a why not. We are almost at the 10-minute mark of your video. You haven't given a why not.
There's that missed opportunity. You know, I genuinely do not support what Sony's doing here.
See, you actually had it there. You had it there. Missed opportunity. Yes, not putting this game on other platforms is a missed opportunity. But then you just go right to, oh, I genuinely don't support this. You're giving arguments for your opposition, but then still staying on your side. I pray to God nobody hires you for a debate team.
And it's not a matter of people not being able to experience these video games.
No, that is what it is a matter of. That is what you are advocating for. You are advocating for less people to experience games because you don't want it on other platforms.
I would love people to experience Uncharted 4 if they were to buy a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 4 or 5. Yeah, it's not even exclusive. It's not even an exclusive.
And Uncharted 4 on that console, on that respective console. That is how it's worked for the last 30 years.
And that's anti-consumer. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm not going to buy a console just to play a game or two. If that game or two comes to my platform, I'll consider it. But I'm not going to go buy a console for a game or two when I already have a gaming platform that I'm happy with.
That's how it's worked, right? Like
worked, past tense.
This is how it is. Like
no, past tense, how it was. You had it, and then you lost it.
Nobody is batting an eye. Look at what Nintendo's doing. Nobody's disappointed. Nobody's mad at this exclusive model.
Nobody's mad at Nintendo's exclusive model? Really? You sure?
Because that's what works for Nintendo, right? As it has for Xbox and Sony.
Xbox doesn't have exclusives anymore.
And so for people to act like this is a great thing. I mean, yeah, sure. For maybe a lot of people in the PC market who unfortunately can't possibly, afford to keep up with the consoles or whatnot.
Affording it has nothing to do with it. I could very easily afford to keep up with the consoles, but I choose not to because why would I? I have no desire to. And again, I'm not going to spend a few $100s on a machine for me to pay another $60 or $70 to play these exclusives once or twice and then never again. I'm smart with my money, which is why I'm not keeping up with the consoles. It has nothing to do with whether or not I can afford it. And I know I'm not the only one in this boat.
I mean, let's be real here. A lot of the PC gamers out there, a lot of the fanatics will say, hey, every 2 years, your PC, your graphics card, and everything else in between is garbage.
That is not a thing PC gamers say.
You need to update it. It's almost like a phone. Listen, I had my phone since 2016. I've never updated my phone. I've never bought a new phone. I've had 2-3 cases maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I got a phone for Christmas in 2016, and I had that phone up until like 6 months ago. 6-7 months ago. And I bring this up like every other video in terms of PC gaming and PC hardware. Oh, you need to update it all the time. I was running a 1070 until late last year. A card from 2016. I was running it until late last year. Then I upgraded to a 2070, which is a card that's almost 2 years old. Which by your standards means I have to upgrade soon. I'm not going to upgrade. Unless somebody throws a 30 card at me, I'm not going to upgrade. I'm happy with my 2070. Didn't you say you were a PC gamer? Like, shouldn't you know this is bullshit?
I mean, granted, I clean it, but I don't damage my property. Surely it's outdated, my battery's drained and whatnot, and eventually I'm gonna have to buy a new phone. But that's but the narrative here for a lot of these PC dudes is like you need to update your shit every 2 years.
No, that's the narrative from console dudes who don't understand the PC market. Gee, who here fits that description?
And yeah, so that narrative where a lot of people on the PC can't afford to buy a console. It's like, well, if you can afford to update your PC, I know for a fact you can afford to buy a $200 PlayStation 4. That's just a fact, right? So,
and again, it's not a matter of whether or not PC gamers can afford consoles. It's a matter of whether or not PC gamers want to buy consoles. And the situation there is almost always we don't want them. or we're indifferent towards them because our platform is better.
I don't really understand what Sony's doing. I don't agree with Sony. I'm not a fanboy.
Yes, you are.
I'm just voicing my concern about
Your fanboy concern.
their business model and their practices, their money-hungry practices.
It's money hungry to be pro-consumer. Got it.
And ultimately, I disagree. However, I'm extremely interested to hear what you guys all think about Uncharted 4 releasing on PC.
I'm extremely interested. Likes and dislikes disabled.
Do you agree with it? Do you own Uncharted 4 or PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4?
No, and I'm not buying them because I don't care.
Are you on the PC like I am, recording this video right now for you?
You are not a PC gamer. I don't know you. I didn't know your channel existed until like an hour ago. But just looking at your channel and just hearing you talk, you are not a PC gamer. I know that for a fact.
I try to keep it civil. Also, any comments saying that I'm a fanboy and all these, like, anything rude, I'm just going to block. I'm just going to delete and ban and block.
wait, play that one again. Play that part again.
Any comments saying that I'm a fanboy and all these, like, anything rude, I'm just going to block. I'm just going to delete and ban and block.
I'm interested in hearing opinions. I'm interested in discussion. I'm interested in what you guys have to say on the opposing side. But if you're rude, if you call me a fanboy, I'm going to ban you and block you, which is ironically one of the staple responses of fanboys. You don't have an argument against the opposition, block them. Oh, I'm open to conversation, I'm open to discussion, but if you're rude or mean to me, which are completely subjective terms, those can mean whatever you want, banned and blocked. Good Lord.
Because I don't have I don't have the time to entertain these kind of discussions. I want civil discourse.
If you don't want to be a part of the conversation, but you want there to be conversation, then just don't engage with comments. I have never once in my life deleted a comment from YouTube. Side note, if your comment has been deleted from YouTube, it's because of YouTube auto mods. The YouTube auto mods fucking suck. But I have never deleted a comment. I have never shut down discourse. I have never censored my likes and dislikes because I actually believe in discourse. I actually believe in hearing the opposition as wrong as I think they are. And because of that, I am more firm in my stances. I've had my mind changed. I've had my eyes open to things. And I've had the things that I already believed confirmed for me. I don't lose debates. I don't lose arguments because I listen to my opposition.
Right? Like we can have a disagreement, but it has to be civil.
We can have a disagreement, but it has to be civil. Again, civil being a completely subjective term. This channel is a joke.
Of course, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. And with that,
leave a thumbs up. Likes and dislikes disabled. Broski. Dude stir.
and with that being said, I've been the Starks. Peace.
And I've been Joe from Seattle. And I hope we learned something today.